Welcome to the Herlihy Family Law Podcast, your trusted source for expert insights on navigating family law matters with clarity and care. Whether you're tackling tough decisions or seeking guidance for your family's future, we're here to help. Let's get started.
Well, welcome to episode 1 of the Herlihy Family Law Podcast. It's my honor to bring on Alison Herlihy. Alison, how you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm great. I am thrilled for you, and your audience is probably wondering, who is this guy? So I should probably just share. I am the producer, and again, thrilled to get you out there, Alison, your law firm, and we're going to talk about your passion behind this, and as I always call this episode, the why. What's behind this. But for starters, not everyone knows either your firm or you. So why don't we start there? Just give your listeners kind of your background, Alison.
Sure. I'm from Mobile, Alabama, where our firm is located. I've been practicing law here in this community, doing pretty much exclusively family law since I started practicing in 2005. I started the firm in 2011, and we've grown to a 3-attorney firm. So we do all kinds of cases that fall under that family law umbrella, which can include divorce, child custody, child support. We even do some adoptions and wills, healthcare directives, prenups, those type of documents as well.
Wow. A lot to cover. So what inspired you to pursue law? Was there that, fork in the road that you said, yeah, definitely need to make the left instead of the right? What was your journey like?
Well, I've always been a big reader and a writer, and obviously those interests and skills help you a lot in law school and the legal career. I'm very analytical. I like sizing up problems and helping people find solutions. And what really steered me into family law was one of my first jobs was at Penelope House, which is a local family violence center and shelter here in town. It was the first one in Alabama and one of the first ones in the country when it was founded back in the 1970s. So wow. I didn't work there in the 70s. I worked there in the 90s. But,
let's just make that clear.
My experience there with the survivors and their children really strongly influenced my decision to get into this line of work.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, what is it? I mean, you're crazy busy, but you decide to start a podcast. What do you hope to achieve with it?
Well, ever since I started my firm in 2011, I've had a really active blog on the website. And my goal with that is kind of similar to my goal with the podcast, which is I'm not into gimmicks. I'm not into being salesy, but I really want to get good information out there for our potential clients and our community that's based on real facts, real knowledge, and real experience.
Yeah, that's so awesome. There's a lot of information out there. What I love about the podcast is people get to meet, the author, right? Anyone can write a blog post, but do we really know that person is actually writing the blog post? But to see and hear the real Alison, I think is so powerful. So that's awesome. But what would you say is your main goal? What's that one thing that you want to accomplish with this?
Like I just said, I want to get good information about family law issues out there to the community.
And who would you say this would be most helpful for?
Well, obviously anybody that thinks that they might be heading towards a divorce. I mean, our information is going to be very specifically targeted towards you. But also, as common as divorce is, we pretty much all know somebody that's been divorced, have a family member. It's the most common way your average person interacts with the legal system. So, I think the information that we're going to put out there is going to be good for lots of people. It can help you with your own life, your own decision-making process. If you already are divorced and you're still having issues struggling with co-parenting or things of that nature, or if you want to learn how to, better support or guide your friend or your family member that's going through a family law issue.
How about the various resources out there? As you shared, you have an awesome blog. There are plenty of other resources out there in the universe. What do you think makes this podcast unique compared to all those other family law resources?
I think what makes it unique is, first of all, everything we're going to be talking about is really going to be geared towards our specific kind of geographical area. We practice in Mobile and Baldwin County here in Alabama. A lot of what you just kind of Google or find online is sort of like vague generalizations, and we really want to gear it towards our own community here. Also, like I said, this is what I've been doing for a living for almost the past 20 years. So, I bring to the table that real world experience, but it's not going to be in a way that flies over people's heads. I want this to be very practical and concise and something that you can actually easily learn, something that you can use.
Yeah. Yeah. What I also like too is you're opening this up for your audience to share, topics that they might be interested in, whether they see this video or listening to this audio. They can text it in, they can email or put comments in the social media messaging so that you can help someone specifically about a topic, because it's the old, hey, if I have a question about some kind of family law matter, chances are there are many other folks that are interested. So you game, right? You're still up for that.
That's a great point. Everybody that works at our firm is here because they like to help people, and that's what we're all about.
Yeah. About the most excited thing, about starting this podcast journey, what comes to mind?
The most exciting thing? I'm really interested to see how interested people are.
Yeah.
It's so easy to kind of just tuck your head down and focus on doing your work that's in your area, that sometimes you can lose sight of how what you do impacts the general public. And I'm really curious to see what that looks like.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think also I think generally people tend to take their knowledge, you've been doing this for so long, for granted that, no one will be interested, or people already know that. And what I found time and time again is that no, we all know our specialized knowledge, but there are a lot of folks out there looking for help, looking for that voice to get them through the night sometimes, which is, can be a scary place to be in especially when it comes, I'm sure I've not been involved in divorce, but that's got to be a scary, lonely place. And not that they're meeting the real Alison at 2 a.m, but it's kind of got to be comforting to at least get some direction and focus when normally there's not much else out there. So
yeah, that's true, Charlie. And trust me, the real Alison is asleep at 2 o'clock in the morning, so you're not going to be meeting her. But yeah, family law is so personal that you want to make sure that whoever you're working with on your case or your matter is going to be a good fit for you. And everybody's not a good fit for anybody, and that for everybody, excuse me. And that doesn't necessarily mean it's good or bad or wrong or whatever, but you want to have the right fit. And it's hard to figure out what the right fit is unless you kind of have a sense of what the person is like that you're considering working with.
Yeah. And I never thought about that. I guess if you're in that situation and it helps to, I don't know what the word is I'm looking for, like interview, like make sure you have that fit looking for an attorney, right? Yeah.
Yeah. You want to have a good rapport. You want to have somebody that you feel like you trust, somebody that you feel like you can rely on, somebody that you communicate well with. And, because everybody's got different communication styles. So all those things are important. And it's sort of like the soft skill side of what we do.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is, you know, when you say that, I mean, communication obviously is so important, and it just reminds me of an accountant I had years ago. Nothing against accountants, and some accountants have great personalities, but you know, it was painful having him as an accountant, because he just yeah, you know, it got to a point where it wasn't worth the frustration of the communication. So I found another accountant. Your audience would, I'm sure, appreciate knowing, and he was much just as good with the numbers, and was even better with communication. So that is huge. How about misconceptions in the family law practice? What do you hear that you can speak to and educate folks on this first episode?
I'd say the number one misconception about divorce in particular is that it has to be horrible, and it doesn't have to be horrible. You know, a lot of people, well, not a lot of young people probably, but a lot of people are probably familiar with that movie like War of the Roses with, who was it? Michael Douglas and Kathleen Turner.
Oh,
and they about burn their own house down, fighting with each other. And I think a lot of people come to divorce with the idea that it has to be like that. And while there's plenty of situations that are like that, there's plenty of situations that aren't.
yeah.
You know, if you and your spouse are both reasonable people and your goal is to be fair, then while divorce is always a big, you know, loss and a difficult life event, the divorce process itself doesn't have to be traumatic or dramatic. We have tons of clients that, you know, do uncontested divorces. We have tons of clients who settle their cases through mediation the vast majority of cases settle without going to trial. You know, while nobody wants to get divorced or goes into it knowing they're going to get divorced, the divorce itself doesn't have to be horrible. It doesn't have to be all knock down, drag out. Again, sometimes it has to be, but not necessarily.
Yeah. Yeah. Great.
And we do everything we can do on our end to make the transition as smooth as possible.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's where, so it sounds like you and your team are obviously attorneys and providing the legal advice and the strategy, but also it's got to take a little bit of the almost coaching, like really helping, because you've been, not saying personally, but it's like you've been through however many divorces over the years through the legal aspects of it.
Thousands.
And you can really help people to say, hey, you know, this is the way it goes, and keep your cool and
right.
It all work. Yeah.
You know, one thing I really try to do with clients, and one of my favorite parts of this job is I want the focus to be on, this is an opportunity for a fresh start. And so let's take this time for what's maybe the first time in the client's life to conceive of what they want their life to look like when it's up to them, what it's going to look like. And to try to look at that as an opportunity for a positive change. You know, some people maybe have never had that opportunity in their lives. So take that chance, think about what your values are, and paint yourself a picture of what your future can be.
Love it. Love it. Great philosophy. So listeners, I had mentioned, you know, getting involved in the show, engaging, whether it's texting or calling but even at 2 a.m, because it won't ring Alison, won't wake her up. So, you know, if you have a thought and you just have to get it out, by all means, send an email, go to the website. But various ways for your audience to get in touch. Alison, what do you recommend?
Of course, our website is herlihyfamilylaw.com. If you're a prospective new client, we have a link right on there where you can request a consultation with us. And you can do that 24 hours a day, send the request. Although, of course, we have rigorous procedures on our end that we have to go through, starting with a conflict check to make sure that, you know, something that happens a lot in the divorce field is both of the people might be calling you within hours of each other. So we have a lot of procedures and safeguards in place to make sure that we're never violating confidentiality or engaging in conflicts. Once we've done that, then we can reach out to you about scheduling an appointment. You can also reach us by phone at 251-277-5356. And we're on Facebook and Instagram too.
Oh, awesome. So remember, audience, engage. Let us know, let Alison know if you have questions, have certain topics you want to cover. Alison, before we wrap up episode number 1, anything else you want to share with the audience here?
I can't think of anything else.
All right. Well, we'll save surprises for future episodes.
I would just say I think it boils down to that knowledge is power,
Yeah.
So do your research. You want to be familiar with the terminology. You want to be familiar with what you might expect on the other side of this. And our team can guide you through all those things. And you can get kind of your first taste with our podcast on our blog, on our website.
Yeah. Meet Alison, get to know her and her team. And, I think the rest takes care of itself. Alison, great job on episode number 1. Looking forward to seeing more. And again, congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to the Herlihy Family Law Podcast. Remember, you don't have to face family law challenges alone. Visit herlihyfamilylaw.com or call 251-277-5356 to learn more.